are the elites building bunkers right now?
The elites are almost exclusively the ones building the bunkers because they can afford it.
So you're telling us right now that the bunker under Denver Airport exists?
It exists. America is just within days, if not weeks, of a rebellion. There is a panic buy on bunkers right now, especially in the United States. But it's not just the USA, it's gone global.
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So it's a great honor today. Once again, Ron from Atlas Survival is in the house.
Hey,
he came back for some more of this beautiful Saskatchewan weather. You came back and it got cold because it was really warm here for the longest time. But today it's
cool, but I've been here for the last 5 days and it was like 80 degrees when I got here. I was like laying out my bikini, putting on my tanning lotion and shooting ducks at the same time.
So what you're saying is you didn't catch many ducks then?
I didn't catch many ducks, but I caught some rays. I don't know. I don't know if you can see the tan. No, I'm not too tan right now, but but it was warm enough where you could have got a tan.
Well, it's good to have you here, man. And we've done this before where we've had an interview where I've asked you all about bunkers because you are one of the foremost bunker building authorities, I would say, probably in the world, as far as I know anyways.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk you up too much, but, I think you live up to the hype. So I figured today, we'll just talk a bit about how the bunker business has been doing in the last couple years. We go in greater depth, I think, in our last video about how the bunkers get built. And I asked Ron a variety of different questions, and we go into great depth about everything related to bunker building. So go and check out that video. But I think today I'd just like to ask you, how are you doing? Maybe you could tell us a bit about yourself, the business, and yeah.
Well, the bunker business is booming. There is a panic buy on bunkers right now, especially in the United States. But it's not just the USA, it's gone global. And Atlas has showed up as the premier person to call. I can't imagine, to be honest with you, I mean, from the way we make our bunkers, I just can't imagine why anybody would honestly call anybody else at this point. The bunkers that we make today are so much better than the bunkers I made 2 years ago when I did my last interview with you at the hunting house in Wadena. So much has changed. The types of bunkers I'm making, what people like in a bunker is what you have here. They want a lot of storage for a lot of supplies. So I've taken what people want and the comforts that they want to have in a bunker, and I've combined them together, and I've come up with a bunker in the last 2 years, which we call our Platinum series, and also another bunker called the Safe Cellar. But the one thing they all have in common is they have under the floor storage. So when you're in your bunker, you don't feel like you got all these shelves behind you because everything is tucked under the floor, as well as the water tanks and everything. So when you're in the bunker, you feel like you've walked into a freshly made hotel room at a Holiday Inn Express. If you don't have that, what you feel like is you walked into a warehouse or one of those storage units where everything is piled up. And then you can't walk around in the bunker because there's food and supplies everywhere. A lot of things have changed in the world in the last couple of years. I mean, I can't believe how bad the world has gotten as far as it just looks like what I thought would take 30 years is going to take a few years. People are worried about the future right now. They're worried about a second round of a pandemic. And I did a video. This is a funny thing. I did a video called Why is Bill Gates Building So Many Bomb Shelters 2 years ago, 6 months before the COVID. And in that video, now Bill Gates has several properties. And on every one of his properties, he put in a $5 million bunker. And he has tunnels leading from the house and all kinds of secret passages and stuff. So anyway, in the interview, he basically says, I'm worried about a virus hitting the earth greater than Ebola, and I put the odds at it around 50% in my lifetime. Now, if you go to the Denver airport, they have a plaque there, and it says New World Airport. I know the guy who built the bunker. I've done videos with him. I've talked to him. It was christened in 1994. But that bunker was designed.
You're talking about the bunker under the
bunker under the Denver airport, which supposedly doesn't exist, but it exists.
So you're telling us right now that the bunker under Denver airport exists?
It exists.
Okay.
Okay. Now, they won't admit to it, but it exists because I'm in the bunker business. I do stuff, and I know people that have worked on the bunker. Yet I've never been into it, but I've heard about it. Okay. And I will spill a little bit of the beans, and I hope the feds don't come knocking on my door. But supposedly, allegedly, it has enough food supplies to house 500,000 people for, I believe, 3 years is what it is. It's been a while since I talked about it.
Well, it would make sense because it's the geographic center of the USA, right? Like mostly, and it's at one of the highest elevations.
Well, they chose it for a reason. And when they were building the Denver airport, airports don't go over budget by $14 billion. Okay? Now, supposedly, 7 countries contributed to the building of the bunker. So when the world has to start over, that will be the center point. That's kind of like the Noah's Ark. You know, it's funny. I keep watching these movies on TV, and I watched one the other day, and it was about this meteor that was coming. It had Morgan Freeman as the president, and this meteor was going to come in and hit the Earth, and basically it was called Ellie, Earth Ending Event or something like that. You know,
extinction level event.
Extinction level event, yeah. There are people that are preparing for this Ellies, okay? And they have spent billions of dollars doing it. Now, the same thing with what you're doing here. People are preparing and buying your supplies for a disaster that they hope never comes. I sell bunkers every single day to people that they have the attitude it's better to have it, not need it, than to need it, not have it. And the way they feel right now in the United States, they feel the dollar's going to crash so bad that they would rather take some of their money out of the bank and put it in a bunker and never use it than to see their money evaporate and be lost in another crash because the dollar's going down. I mean, my exchange for the Canadian dollar a month ago is like $1.30. Now it's $1.20. Your dollar is on fire right now. I mean, it's
relative to yours, yes. So
yeah.
I have a question for you, Ron.
Yeah.
You obviously can't give us any names, but are the elites building bunkers right now? Are
the elites are almost exclusively the ones building the bunkers because they can afford it. The average guy can't afford the bunkers that I'm pretty much making right now. Unfortunately, the price of steel has quadrupled in the last 6 to 8 months. Freight has doubled. Matter of fact, I saw in the news today a shipping container that was $2,000 is now $20,000 coming from China. So everything is skyrocketing in price right now. But when I started Atlas Survival Shelters and I printed my catalog, I listed bunkers starting at $18,999. My goal was to make bunkers that the everyday man could afford, so everybody could have a bunker, not just the elites. Well, now with the price of steel quadrupling and almost fivefold, the cost of freight doubling, the regular guys can't afford them. The bunkers that I was selling for, say, $40,000 are now selling for like $80,000. They've almost doubled in price because the cost of the steel, the cost of the freight for the air systems, getting people to work. It's a perfect storm for disaster in the United States. But I have never seen demand so high as what I'm seeing right now for bunkers in the United States. Matter of fact, it's not just the United States. I have projects in the Middle East. I have projects in Europe. We have the new Polish factory. I don't own it. It's one of those license deals. He's basically building my bunkers under a license deal. But the demand for bunkers has gone up worldwide, and it's really the elites that are buying them. So the average bunker I used to sell 5 years ago was $75,000. The average bunker I do today is like $250,000. And most people don't have $250,000 just sitting in their bank that they can stick in a hole in the ground. So you asked me earlier off camera, who are some of the famous people I work for? Well, I can't tell you any of the famous people I've worked for, but I can tell you this. I am under contract with one of the top 5 richest people in the world. Everybody knows who he is, but I can't say who is, but I can just say a top 5. I am doing bunkers for one king in the Middle East, and there's only 7 kings in the Middle East. So your odds are 1 in 7 of guessing that one. And then as far as the top 5 richest people in the world, you can name them off on your hand. So one of those people is actually under contract with me. But I'm working for very famous, very wealthy people. But on the other hand, I'm working for average people too. Everybody wants to survive a disaster. You don't have to be rich to survive. It's just the rich people are going to survive a little more comfortable than you and I are. Okay.
And that's what's cool about you is, you kind of go in and out of these different circles, and I'm always impressed by how down to earth and authentic and real you are. And we might differ a little bit, when it comes to certain politics and stuff like that, but I consider you a friend. And it's cool that you're just so down to earth in spite of the fact that you're going in and out of these different social circles. So I mean,
well, it should be down to earth because I am down to earth. Yeah. Okay, I'm nothing special.
Literally, because you're under the earth.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I am under the earth. But I work for the rich, but I'm not one of the rich. And when I work with them, I mean, I showed you an invoice earlier of a guy in Europe that I sold a bunker to this morning. That the invoice was for $1 million even, but I don't even know if the guy does. Yeah. This is the thing about me. When I sell a bunker to you or anybody, I don't know who you are. I get a first name and a state. So we'll say David in Colorado. That's what I put on the invoice. So my office never knows who we're working for. I may not even know who I'm working for because the very wealthy and the very famous people, they have their agent call you. And they'll say, well, you need to sign this non-disclosure because you're going to be working for somebody that's kind of famous. So sometimes I don't even know who I'm working for till the very end.
So they can ensure that Ron and his merry band of marauding misfits aren't going to be coming when the apocalypse hits.
No, I've got my own bunkers, and these people, there is strength in numbers. I'll say one thing about the people that are getting bunkers from me. I've got so many bunkers now within 30 minutes of me in Texas that we haven't really formed anything, but we're all friendly with each other. Yeah. And if we kind of have an unwritten agreement that if one of us gets in trouble and you can't call 911, you call another one of the preppers. And how do you do that on shortwave radio? So we have a backup plan. We have a plan B because just a single family is going to have a hard time protecting a single bunker. So we have what we call bunker buddies. Yeah. Okay, so who are bunker buddies? These are other guys who have bunkers. In our little group, we have like 2 doctors. We got one billionaire, which is the guy with the big bunker. But the cool thing about the rich guys, they have all the tools too. The toys and the tools. But they have the military vehicles and the armored MRAPs and all the cool things that go along with being a prepper. So it's fun being around these people. Now, we all hope that we never need these things. But in the meantime, it sure is fun to practice them, to play with them. But it's not as much fun now because we're getting to a point now where it's like we think we're going to have to need these things now, and we don't know what degree we're going to need them. But we're sure glad we got them. But it's very people say, "Are you excited about your business doing so good?" I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's getting uncomfortably close to the 0 hour.
It's bittersweet because I would much rather have my country safe and secure and be the poorest guy in the country than they have all the business I have right now and knowing that my country is about ready to cater in. Now, is there anything that can save us? I think so. There's things that can save us, but do I think they're going to come in and save us? I don't think so at this point. But America is just within days, if not weeks, of a rebellion. Not a violent rebellion, just a rebellion because people are losing their jobs and government is telling us things that we have to do that we don't agree with. And things like this is what's leading to my phone ringing off the hook. People, they want a safe place to take their family because they feel the end is getting very close. And what are they going to do? They want to do the same thing that they do with the President of the United States. And what do they do when he's threatening and he's sitting in the White House? They take him down into a bunker. And that's the same protection that you want to give to your family because there's nothing else you can do. Yeah. Now, the president can jump on Air Force One and go to New Zealand or something like that, but you and I can't.
So there's going to be people who say, oh, this guy's just, and I get this criticism a lot, you're just fear-mongering and all this, but...
Not me.
But what I'll say, what I've known of your bunkers is that you build a high-quality product, which I think is the best on the market. and you're not out there selling things to people that can't afford them. You know, you've told me stories of people who've come to you and they're trying to put pennies together to buy a bunker, and you've said, look, I don't think you need this. I think you need to prioritize other things. So just to make that clear that, you know, you're not just in this to make a buck, you're in this because you enjoy the art of bunker building, I guess you could say, and you genuinely want to help people out, because if and when things actually got bad, that people who were residing in those bunkers riding out that crisis were safe and not, you know, succumbing to floods or gas leaks or whatever other faulty craftsmanship might accompany certain bunkers that are getting built right now, right? Without going into any specific detail about that. Yeah, you've talked a bit about government bunkers. Is the government still building bunkers in the U.S.? I guess you'd be more familiar with, or maybe even in other countries around the world?
Okay, two questions there. One, I'm the worst businessman in the world because I'm a patriot first. And I do my bunkers because I actually believe in it, and I actually got in the business to help other preppers like me. It's just my bunkers got so popular, kind of like your warehouse here, your hobby, which was YouTube, became a full-time business. My project became a full-time business for me. I never intended Atlas to be such a big company, but it's because I believe in what I'm doing, and my bunkers may be tested in my lifetime. Now, I thought I would make them and they wouldn't be tested for 30, 40, 50 years in the next World War III, but 0 hour could be very close. Now, I hope it never happens, but if you ask the majority of people in America, do you think we're looking at a civil war or World War III? I'd say 90% of them would say, yeah, probably within the next 5 to 10 years. Now, as far as the government bunkers go, the government bunkers are called DUMBs. And that's an acronym that was coined by my friend. And it stands for Deep Underground Military Bases. Okay? Now, there are supposedly, don't hold me to this, but there's supposedly 7 or 8 DUMBs in the central and western part of the United States. Now, these DUMBs, which is the Deep Underground Military Base, they hold anywhere from thousands of people to hundreds of thousands of people. And supposedly, and of course, I've never seen it, but there's high-speed trains all underground, so they never even have to come out the ground. They have tunneling machines that are just going from one DUMB to the other, and that's how they get from DUMB to DUMB. Now, as far as the government building more military bunkers right now, I have not heard of them doing. They did all this 25 years ago. So the DUMBs are in place, and they're manned, and they're probably controlled by the Air Force. You say, why the Air Force? Well, they're the ones that control all this stuff. They control Cheyenne Mountain, and they control a lot of this stuff. So the Air Force is the one that's controlling these.
What's the one called Raven Rock?
Raven Rock is the main one now for the U.S. Congress, which is, I believe, in Maryland. It used to be was it the Greenbrier? Yeah, was it? But they changed it because everyone figured it out. But is the military and the U.S. government preparing for stuff? The answer is no, not right now, because they already prepared. They have them, and like the government feels, it's better to have it, not need it, not have it. No different in all these missiles that they have. They have them, they never use them, and they throw them away. And of course, if you watch my YouTube channel, you've seen where I like to visit these old Titan 1, Titan 2 missile silos, these AT&T bunkers. They spent tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars building these things. And of course, they never got used. And some of them only lasted 4 or 5 years before they became obsolete. Yeah.
Before a missile could penetrate.
Well, the missile became obsolete because they had new technology. So basically, they scrapped them. And now people, it's funny, those things, you could buy them 20 years ago for $20,000, $25,000. I did a video on one about 2 months ago in Wyoming, and the guy sold it for like $1.6 million a week after my video came out. So those things are like gold right now.
And on that same topic, we're now entering the hypersonic age of intercontinental ballistic missiles, where the window for your time to get into a bunker is going to be much shorter, as I understand, because these missiles can go like Mach 5, I believe, or, don't quote me on this, but they can go very fast. So there's a shorter and shorter window. So I would assume that the proximity to your bunker is going to be a factor too. Like you want to have that within a fairly short distance of your location. So are a lot of people's bunkers on their properties, or are people putting these in like bug out locations?
Well, most people can only afford one bunker, but the elites buy 2 bunkers. And if they have 5 houses, they buy 5 or 10 bunkers because they want a small one in their backyard. They could be in there in like 2 minutes. Yeah. And then they want to come out of the bunker and then go to the bunker where they could live for 2 or 3 years out in the wilderness. So they do their long-term bunker there and their quick access bunker there. For it might even be for tornadoes too. Some people would just go down there and spend the night during the tornadoes, and it's like, wow, I can't see them. I'm just going to sleep in the bunker, because the bunkers are just, they're nice. Yeah. You don't feel like you're in a jail cell in my bunkers. If we ever need this bunker, this is what's going to keep this family alive. And if they don't have one, they may try to kill Daddy and take this bunker for their family.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com. The best quality products at the best prices. Use discount code SURVIVALPREPPER, all caps, all one word, for 10% off. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.